Good morning, you guys, it's Karen and I'm here to do a first impressions review of this. This is the Ordinary Amino Acids plus B5. This is just new out and Deciem were kind enough to send me this, and they've also sent me the, I can't even think of the name of it, but the spray by Niod. It's in quite a big bottle and it's a sort of aqua colour, so I'm really excited to try that, and I've always been curious about that one, so I will be doing a review for you on that, and quite a lot of you have asked me to do a review on that as well as this. I know you guys are curious about this one as well. So amino acids plus B5. One of the requests I got was that when I reviewed this amino acids was that I explained what the difference was between amino acids and peptides, because some people wonder, are they the same thing, and you know, what are the differences? Amino acids make up peptides, and I've had it explained in many different ways. One of the ways that it's explained is that it's like a necklace made of beads, and that the necklace is a peptide and that the little beads on it are the amino acids. When joined together in a certain order, they make up a peptide, and the necklace is the peptide. But at its most basic, peptides are made up of amino acids joined together. For example, in this amino acid product from The Ordinary, there is threonine, which is an amino acid, and there is also serine, which is an amino acid, listed in the ingredients. There are a lot more amino acids in here. That's just two. And those two amino acids make up part of the matrixyl peptide. But because they are in here, it doesn't mean that this is a peptide, because they would only make a peptide if they were in a specific sequence and linked specifically by a particular bond with other amino acids that would have to be in a specific order. So I hope that makes sense. Just because they are in here doesn't mean that this is anything to do with matrixyl. It's just that some of the ingredients are in here. Some of the single amino acids are in here. Okay, so it's £5.90 for the usual 30ml in a dropper style bottle. It says you can use it AM and PM, and it says to use before creams. It doesn't really say any more than that, but to use before creams. It does say that you may get a tingling sensation from it. I have used it directly on my skin after cleansing, and I've used it with, you know, lots of other things. I wanted to see how it worked with other skincare, and I have had no tingling sensation at all. You know, I've used it after using glycolic acid toner, no tingling. I've used it alone, no tingling whatsoever for me. It doesn't seem to have any scent that I can detect at all. You can see it goes on sort of watery. Nope, still can't smell anything at all, but it's not watery in the sense of the hyaluronic acids, in that it doesn't feel like water. It's watery as in it's very liquidy, but it feels serumy. It feels very, very silky. It feels silky. It feels very nice going on. I really like the texture of it. It's not thick at all. It doesn't feel oily at all. I think somebody commented there was one review when I checked on the Deciem site that they didn't like most of the Deciem products with propane dye in it, and this has propane dye in it, but that they did like this one. It doesn't feel thick at all. It just gives a very nice really soft surface. What I find interesting is when I put it on my hand, it doesn't leave any sort of tacky surface, but I do find that when I put it on my face, it feels slightly tacky. But I don't mind that at all, because I don't think anybody would use this and nothing else. You're always going to put a moisturizer on top of this. The idea is, you know, not to use this as a moisturizer, it is to put something on top of it, I would think anyway. At the time of recording this video, there is nothing in the information tab on the Deciem website. They do seem to put their products out before having filled in that information tab, from what I can see. But everything I can find out seems to be that this is hydration, and that is confirmed by the title, because it says hydration support. So let me get the full title. What did they say? A concentrated hydration support formula, and everything that I found out about it seems to suggest that this is something for dry skin that is a hydrator, and it may be good for things like eczema, psoriasis, any kind of dry, irritated skin. And when I say what I found out, I thought I'd have a look and see if there's any kind of research in, you know, what it does for the skin and if there's any evidence to back it up. But I can't really find any evidence. There are a few lab studies on animals. There's a couple of really small, very small studies that are not, you know, blinded or anything like that. But they're all looking at it as a sort of treatment for eczema. That seems to be the main purpose of it. And I feel like there's a lot of things, I feel like there's a lot of products that have come out lately with that in mind, you know, that this isn't something new. And that, you know, I feel like I've said this quite a few times. Certainly that was what I found from the copper amino isolate serum, that was geared towards wound healing, etc., etc. And so I thought, well, what would I use this for? And what I had in mind was, you know how I really enjoyed their mineral sunscreen, the SPF 30, but my only issue with it was that I found it made my skin a bit tight. I found that it wasn't as hydrating as I needed it to be. And so I thought, well, I wonder what this would be like underneath it. And so I used this underneath that, and that's the perfect combination. And so I thought, for people that perhaps enjoy their SPFs, the mineral sunscreens, but don't want to use an oil underneath, maybe, I don't know, not everybody enjoys an oil, and not everybody gets on with a hyaluronic acid. Perhaps you don't live in the right climate to use a hyaluronic acid, or you just don't like the feeling of them. I don't enjoy a hyaluronic acid personally. This would be a really nice thing to use underneath, and I've used it for the last 2 mornings and it's made the difference. I can now use this with their mineral SPF 30 and I feel no tightness all day long. It feels really nice and smooth. It's almost like a primer as well, actually. It does feel like it would make a really nice primer even on its own under makeup. You know, I was tempted to put it on top, put it underneath the SPF and then put it on again on top of the SPF. Maybe I should try it just for kicks and see what happens, because it feels like it would make a good moisturising primer. And so, yeah, that's the way I've enjoyed it, and that's the way I will use it from now on, actually, because I've just run out of my EUK, which is what I've been using in the morning, and I'm using the Garden of Wisdom vitamin C, which actually I've just run out of that as well. So I will see how I get on using this. I'll maybe use my ethylated vitamin C in the morning, then use this on top and my SPF from The Ordinary, and see how that all works together. But I think it will work pretty well. I'll be super interested to see what the claims are for this and what the information section says, you know, but I think it's going to be geared towards hydration and just another way of adding hydration into your regime. And although I don't think that there'll be any specific anti-aging benefits from this, because if you look up on YouTube and you put in amino acids skincare, there's a lot of websites coming up and saying you need it to build collagen and, you know, all of this, but I don't believe that this will penetrate enough to be anti-aging. I'm still not even on the fence. I'm not convinced that peptides and amino acids will do enough to be anti-aging, and that includes matrixyl, etc. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't use them, because I would, because they will, at the Deciem prices, at the Ordinary prices, I don't have any issues with using them. They won't do any harm. They're moisturising if nothing else, and they may well work, but I just don't see how they can actually penetrate. And it would be the same with the amino acids, but this one is more of a hydrator. And even in hydrating, that in itself is going to be anti-aging, if that makes sense. So it's a really nice product. So you will see me talking about it again in my empties, because like I said, I am going to continue to use this with the SPF. So, and I'm enjoying it, and it feels really lovely on the skin, which always encourages me to use a product when it feels that nice, you know, soft, silky way. So if you've got any questions, of course, leave them in the comments, but especially if you've used this, let us know how you get on. I'd love to see if anybody has this tingling effect, because it feels so soothing going on. I just can't imagine a tingling effect from it. So I'd be interested if anybody has experienced that. I'll give you a quick rundown of my makeup today. I've got on the Lancome Teinte Idole Ultra Foundation. I think I've got one more use of that because I was on my last pump this morning, so it'll be, you know, scooping it all out. On my eyes is the Bare Minerals pigment in the buff, and then I used a Stila those liquid eyeshadows on top. This lipstick is a MAC one called, what am I like? There's always these pauses at the end that I can't remember. Something like Irresistible Red or something. I'll list it in the description. I'll list all of my makeup in the description. I like to say it at the end because actually, if I don't, when it comes to editing, I can't remember. I'm looking at myself going, I have no idea what I'm wearing myself. The blush is a Glossier blush in Puff. You know, I can't even think of the name. Honestly, this medication is driving me crazy. I can't get my words together. And I've got a bad memory at the best of times, but it is one of their sort of liquidy type blushes in Puff. These earrings are from Accessorize. This necklace is from River Island. This top is from Morrison's, would you believe? And that's everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.